Have you ever stopped to consider that there are true natural treasures capable of aiding in the control of blood sugar levels? Many people face the challenges of type 2 diabetes daily, grappling with a wave of conflicting information, uncertainty about what to eat, and a feeling that everything can be quite overwhelming. However, the truth is that there are plants and herbs that, combined with Stoic wisdom, offer a calmer, more consistent, and accessible path to living in balance without becoming a hostage to expensive or overly complicated solutions. Type 2 diabetes is becoming increasingly common in our daily lives. Perhaps you know someone who has just received a diagnosis or have been living with this condition for years yourself. Yet, what few people talk about is that small actions, such as incorporating medicinal herbs into one's routine, can make all the difference. This is not merely a matter of lost knowledge from the past or miraculous recipes that appear and disappear quickly. There exists a set of traditional practices passed down through generations that help regulate blood glucose levels simply. When combined with a mindset that understands and accepts challenges without succumbing to despair, these practices can yield surprising results. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes a formidable ally. While some health approaches focus solely on what to eat or how many pills to take each day, Stoicism opens up space to view the situation in a broader context, changing the way we react to difficulties. Acceptance, a fundamental concept in Stoicism, does not mean resigning ourselves to the problem. It means seeing reality as it is, ceasing to fight against facts we cannot change, and, from there, investing energy in what we can control. It is the act of saying, "Yes, I have this condition, but I can do something about it. I can choose how to deal with it." In this realm of natural solutions, certain plants stand out for their traditional use in controlling glucose levels. One example is Gymnema Sylvestre, long known in some cultures as an ally for those looking to reduce sugar cravings. Just incorporating an infusion of this plant into daily life can lead to changes in taste and, consequently, in how we handle that irresistible dessert after lunch. Another commonly found ingredient in the kitchen is cinnamon. Used in powder or stick form, it adds flavor to meals and can also help keep blood sugar levels in check. A simple way to start is by sprinkling cinnamon on fruits or even in your morning hot beverage. This small change is often welcomed by those needing to take an initial step to avoid spikes in blood glucose. Every time we add a pinch of cinnamon to our coffee or oatmeal, we are not only enhancing flavor, but also giving our body a little extra help to balance its metabolism. Those who try it often report feeling fuller, which can decrease the urge to overindulge in snacks. And there's no need to complicate this tip. The important thing is to start simply. It could be adding cinnamon to mashed bananas, tea, or even in the preparation of rice, imparting a special aroma that awakens the palate. In addition to these plants that can be incorporated into cooking, there are also teas that act beneficially for both the body and mind. This approach gains even more strength when we recall how anxiety can exacerbate the routine for those living with diabetes. After all, anxiety tends to manifest in moments of uncertainty or fear of the future, often leading to binge eating or carelessness with timing and amounts of medication. In this sense, reading Stoic texts acts as a balm. By learning to breathe deeply and keep thoughts in check, it is possible to reduce the stress that can throw the body's functioning out of balance. Imagine the ritual of preparing guava leaf tea. Choosing a few leaves, washing them carefully, boiling them in water for a few minutes, and then straining, all while inhaling the steam during a moment of pause. This type of beverage, known for assisting in the regulation of sugar levels, can be an alternative or complement to other medical care, always with common sense and responsibility. Some report that simply adopting this care in their routine creates a soothing pause, which, combined with reading a brief passage from Seneca or another Stoic, results in a sense of greater mental clarity. It is in this space of calm that one finds the ability to pause before grabbing a pack of cookies or thinking that everything is lost. Real stories illustrate how the wisdom of plants has been utilized for generations. An example is the scene where a grandmother offers herbal tea when someone has a cold or stomachache. These ancient practices rarely fail, especially when the right dosage and consumption frequency are respected. Diabetes is no different. Many families cultivate home gardens where they grow mint, rosemary, basil, and other plants rich in substances that help strengthen the body. The act of planting, watering, and caring for these herbs daily reinforces a close relationship with what will be consumed later. It's as if the act of caring for nature mirrors the self-care that those living with diabetes need to adopt. And a large yard isn't necessary to do this. Even pots on a balcony or recycled PET bottles on a window can house a small garden, eventually becoming an essential part of the routine. There are inspiring accounts of people who decided to replace their daily soda with iced herbal tea grown at home. The financial savings are just one more advantage, but the greatest benefit lies in the habit change and the awareness that each sip can be a step towards a healthier life. Viewing the task of planting as something practical also helps to build discipline, the kind of discipline espoused by the Stoics. Instead of seeing cultivation or care with food as a burden, individuals start to view it as an opportunity to develop virtues such as patience and perseverance. In the realm of nutrition, many find themselves caught in extremely restrictive diets, particularly out of fear of messing up with sugar. At times, this rigidity can even prevent social gatherings and lead to isolation. The belief that one will never be able to eat anything sweet again creates enormous tension and often results in an all-or-nothing mindset, days of deprivation culminating in abrupt excess. In this context, the idea of healthy balance emerges to show that it is possible to have moments of small indulgences while maintaining a focus on the whole. It is feasible to integrate homemade dulce de leche or one's favorite piece of chocolate into a broader meal plan without feelings of guilt and without compromising one's health. These adjustments help keep life light, avoiding extremism that, instead of helping, can elevate anxiety. Stoic philosophy offers valuable insights into how to handle adversities and, consequently, the anxiety that often accompanies those who need to measure glucose, visit doctors, and, at times, deal with comments from those who don't understand the condition. Keeping a personal journal, where one notes sugar levels, meals consumed, and daily feelings, can transform into something deeper. Instead of merely recording numbers, one could describe the emotions of that day, reflect on what might have been done more equitably, and what small step can be taken the next morning to improve. In this way, the simple act of monitoring health becomes an exercise in self-awareness and, at the same time, a constant reminder that there are aspects that can be adjusted. Some find they can confront anxiety attacks simply by putting on sneakers and going for a walk, focusing on their breath, and enjoying a quick read of some Stoic author on the way back. This practice can change one's mental state by shifting focus away from fears to the present task. Small habits, when repeated frequently, create a solid foundation for well-being. Anxiety tends to weaken as you realize you are not without choices. There is always something positive that can be done to improve the situation, whether it be a different tea, a quick exercise, or the decision to cook your own meal rather than ordering takeout. Another aspect that deserves emphasis is mindful eating. Often, the difficulty in controlling glucose lies not just in what is consumed, but in how it is consumed. Eating a meal in a rush, barely noticing the mastication, is something common in today's fast-paced lifestyle. But the consequences can be quite negative, as the body does not receive the fullness signal, and we end up consuming more than we need. Conversely, there are those who decide to swap a chocolate bar for a fiber-rich, low glycemic index fruit like an apple, consciously savoring each bite. The difference in attitude can be noticed in mood and energy levels throughout the day. A common report is that with this change, energy levels stabilize and the desire to snack constantly diminishes. Of course, the motivation for these changes varies from person to person. Some feel encouraged when they see their glucose numbers starting to drop or their clothes fitting again. Others are motivated when they realize it is possible to live well despite the limitations of diabetes, finding joy in planting their herbs or discovering delicious recipes that use cinnamon or ginger. Ultimately, it all boils down to a mindset where one takes responsibility for their own health and recognizes the value of practicing acceptance. This is not an acceptance of defeat, but a conscious decision to see what is within one's reach and to develop self-control for what cannot be immediately changed. There are myths that circulate on the internet and in family conversations, such as the idea that to control sugar levels, one must never consume anything sweet again. While it is understandable to take drastic measures when faced with an alarming blood test, it is important to separate myth from what is practically useful. A truly healthy lifestyle considers not only the physiological aspects, but also emotional well-being. Nobody needs to give up traditions or small pleasures, as long as this is done with awareness and within a moderate framework. Even a birthday party can be enjoyed without excess, provided one understands the need to balance diet with other choices throughout the week. When we realize that our own mind can become our greatest ally in this process, a great deal changes. Instead of imagining that controlling sugar requires living in isolation, devoid of social contact, or being tied to restrictive menus, we discover there is a middle path. Stoic wisdom teaches us to focus on what is within our control. We can choose what teas to drink, how to prepare meals, when to take a moment to slow down the mind, what to plant in our home garden, and even how to interpret every small signal from the body. This autonomy generates inner strength, as it becomes evident that no one is at the mercy of an inflexible fate. By assembling this repertoire of solutions, from cinnamon and Gymnema Sylvestre to the practice of walking and reading inspiring texts, individuals with diabetes feel more motivated to move forward. Each micro-victory, such as reducing a point in fasting glucose, is celebrated as proof that the body responds positively to those who care for it with love and consistency. Thus, it becomes easier to understand how certain popular traditions, such as guava leaf tea, carry wisdom that newer generations can rediscover and incorporate into today's routines. It is essential to remember that this entire set of tips and practices should go hand in hand with medical supervision and regular checkups. The aim is not to replace medications, but rather to expand the arsenal of tools available for those seeking a more balanced life. When this is done mindfully, respecting the differences of each organism, the chances of living well and feeling more confident about the path being taken increase. What's most interesting is to note how changes start small and, over time, become part of one's own identity. The person who never imagined themselves buying mint seedlings suddenly finds joy in watering herbs at sunrise. The anxiety that once consumed thoughts is replaced by a sense of purpose. Each leaf that grows, each tea brewed, and each new recipe that includes cinnamon or other spices serves as a concrete reminder that health is not merely something on paper. It is built with each meal, with each choice of attitude, and with every new piece of knowledge we acquire. If you have made it this far, you may already be pondering how to apply these ideas to your daily life. Instead of ending with a full stop, let me suggest taking this moment to choose at least one of these practices and put it into action today. It could be brewing guava leaf tea or perhaps adding a sprinkle of cinnamon to your afternoon snack. It could be searching for a brief text by Seneca online and reading it before bed to calm your mind. And remember that some worries don't deserve so much energy. By approaching this knowledge with calm, you may feel inspired to share your experience with others who also feel a bit lost in how to manage diabetes. Therefore, I extend a quiet invitation. If you feel this conversation resonates with you, consider subscribing to this channel to continue receiving more ideas and reflections that can make a difference in everyday life. And if you'd like, please leave a comment below sharing a personal experience or asking a question about the plants and practices that pique your curiosity. Rest assured, many people will benefit from reading real stories or questions that connect with the daily lives of those striving to keep their sugar levels in check without sacrificing flavor, pleasure, and the tranquility we all deserve.